I mean, what the sound is in your head is not necessarily the sound, and sometimes you're like, "Ew, I sound so nasally. I sound
Yeah,
nasal." I sound
yeah, yeah.
and, it's a not it's just you, that's how everyone has known you, and so
yeah,
you just kinda have to get over that and be like, "It's okay. Everyone, has known me for X amount of years, and my voice is my voice, so, I
yeah.
know people have like, there's some people have serious phobias of their voice.
Mm,
I know people too, a lot of people listening have serious phobias of being on camera too, and, again, that is your face, and we love faces. Your face.
yeah,
We love
look,
your face.
I tell you, I think you're so right. The science is what it is. What I hear of myself is not what you hear of me. It takes a long time to truly understand and accept that. How you sound to yourself is not how anyone else hears you. Just how you hear you. Now, again, think of everyone you listen to, right? You think they sound great. They sound like themselves, right? You don't think twice. You don't think, oh, that person sounds nasal, unless they really there's something there, right? But literally, people will love your voice, your sound a
Wow.
lot more than you do at best of times, right?
And it's good to just, if you're gonna read your book, like, maybe get feedback from someone you trust to see if you are going too fast or
Yeah.
you are losing their interest because you're monotone, and so that's a good idea. I mean, that stems from me being in a band for a short time and then being like, "No, your voice has to go higher here at this point, like, right after this note," and I'm like, "Oh, okay," like, I was like, I sounded like crap," but you can learn to improve.
You really can. Again, Mary says it very well. I have to think about slowing down my thoughts and my mouth go fast sometimes. This is all of us, right? We can't. I'm forever learning to try and slow down. Now, what I haven't learned yet, the journey and everyone else here, is how to pause and really stop. And I can say that you see when Mary and I do our show next week, next Thursday, I think. She wants to throw in think about moments where basically you ask the audience to think about and then answer a question.
Mhm.
I would love to do that, but my brain is always going so no, far too fast. That's I don't have those in my events, but I will learn. Like you're saying, Jonah, everything that we need to do, we
You
can
can
learn.
learn.
We learn to
Yeah,
sound louder.
it's
We
not
learn to
hard.
sound.
It's just it's a it's a skill too, you know,
Mm,
how to properly read something. You can tell from thinking about when you were a child and a librarian was reading a book, and if they were really excited, animated, charismatic, you'd be like, "I wanna stay for this whole session," and then if they're just like, "Blah, blah, 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 blah," you know,
you can
no.
tell. No,
You
no. So
can tell. You can tell she wants to be organizing the book in the back corner.
Well, I'm saying that. Look, people practice. There's nothing wrong with practicing. When you're practicing, there's no surprises, right? Now, Mary says, "Ah, Joni, you got a great voice. You got a great reader voice." Yeah, see. Now, what was coming today, Joni? You made my day, of course, by being here. Let me welcome my superstar friend Yolanda. Yolanda, I feel so bad. We need to get on your book, Yolanda. If we crack on the way we're going, probably get the book written by the end of August, and then we'll spend a month or so refining the book when I go to Ghana, and then we can finish the book off, right? So Yolanda's book is coming, and with her book will come the events that we're gonna do to bring some of the issues to our world, right? I'm never the funny one. No, I can't imagine you being scared, but that's a real fear. Ah, Mary, no, it's not a secret. I've said this many a time, right? Yeah, I said for years I refused to speak in public. For years, and I don't know what it was. I can guess what it was. I think there was something about our generation that didn't speak much at school, and I wasn't required to speak. All we had to do was write, and I'm good at writing, Mary, and I can write, I can write, I can write. That's maybe in Nigeria, I spend a lot of time doing reading and comprehension, story writing, and handwriting, just handwriting, handwriting. So I can write. Then I remember there was a presentation at uni during my master's. That's the worst. My master's is probably the worst one I remember. Literally, I would practice, Mary. I would rehearse. I would have notes. I would have scripts. But on the day, my nerves just went. My nerves would just literally shake so much that I couldn't even see what was on the paper in front of me. I would have projection slides, overhead projector slides, and everything. But I would just lose myself and just forget my words and lose my sound. Suddenly it's like, oh, what a nightmare. They were looking at me. Damn. So
I think that's also the age, and you really have a different affect when you are older. I remember my high school required all seniors to do a senior assembly. So you had to write this whole assembly, and then you had to read it in front of the entire school up on the stage by yourself. And I remember I've never felt this feeling since, but my throat went dry. It was like, coughing, and I was like, I need a glass of water. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna fail this project. I have to graduate senior year. But see, now you just kind of pause, you smile, and you keep going. I mean, even about the boring stuff. So I do technical writing on as a side gig, and sometimes I have to read it, and it's like, yes.
C'est la vie. I'll do what I have to do, right? I think that again, there's something there, Joni. I think as adults, we have much more agency. Is it true? If we choose to do something,
agency. That's a good idea.
We learn to do it, right?
We have a little bit more confidence or a little bit more not give a fuck.
So Mary talked about that meeting. I was scared. We need to drop that fear. We need to drop that fear that we have. So my voice won't sound right. Oh, I will make mistakes. That's all fear. You do great. Tell yourself you're going to do amazing. Practice and then get it done. So until 3 years ago, Mary, I didn't speak in public. I managed to get to the top of the company, the charity I was running, and literally, I would have my soldiers go and do the work for me. I would train the kids to go and speak. I would train the staff to go and speak. But you wouldn't hear me speak on stage. In meetings, of course, in meetings, I'm fine. In one-to-ones, I'm great. I'm all right. I'm just me. I'm saying, but speaking like this 5 years ago, I would say to you, no, I can't do it. No, for all the reasons we mentioned, right? But I think I found the needs I found with this audio, or this live event, sort of audio events, where either I was going to leave LinkedIn for good and have to change my business completely, or I was going to have to get into audio. And as soon as audio came in, day one, literally, I was here. I had a show in August. Audio came in July. I had my first audio room in August. And since then, they can't stop me talking. Yay. Lucky for everyone.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure your son loves that at dinner time. You're like, how's your day? What'd you do? What'd you game? What'd you do? What did workouts do?
It just looks at me and just says, what? I'm like, I've got to explain it again. Then I slow down and trying to explain it a bit more. And I do just talk at him half the time. But it makes me laugh because no one ever talked to me.
Now, I feel like everyone needs to, listening to this podcast, go listen to IDGAF by Dua Lipa because it's a great song and it empowers you. You're like, okay, all things in this world, just let it go and be yourself. You're enough.
I
Anyways,
agree.
I
I
have a meeting
agree.
at 11, so I'm gonna
That's all right.
ta-ta.
No, thank you, Joni. Thank you. You know, you made my day
Right.
being here
Everyone
today.
have a great weekend.
You too. Take care, Joni. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye. Mr. Calm, you found your way back. I was going to find Dua Lipa, and I thought about not. I'll leave that alone. No, but I tell you, yay! Your phone, reawaken itself. No, I tell you what, Mary. There's something that I don't do very well, even when I talk in public these days. Do you know what it is? Comedy. And you don't say that to yourself. It's not true. I can be funny sometimes. I'm very funny. I make myself laugh. I make some people who know me laugh sometimes. But again, everything's about memories, Michael. Everything's about your memories, your experiences that you remember that maybe left a mark. So let's say maybe my first real acceptance I had to speak in public was when I started networking. And in networking, real life networking pre-COVID, especially, you had to give your elevator pitch. And so there I was every Thursday morning. We're talking 5:30 UK time in the morning. Every Thursday morning. I had to gather my strength, gather me, Michael, and then go to my networking group, my BNI networking group. And invariably, there's 50 people in the room, if not more. They're going around one by one doing their 1 minute elevator speech. Sometimes it's 30 seconds, sometimes in between, right? 5 seconds. But the bigger the room, the less time you got. Because the room was standard, then you got you had your minute. And that's why I had to learn how to talk in public. But even then, Mary, everything I will practice and practice, because you really want to have you want to speak with impact. You want people to know what you said, to resonate with what you said, to get it, and call you to come and help them with your services. That's why you practice so much, put so much into it. But I don't think I say in maybe three and a half years I was networking at BNI. I don't think I ever did any of my presentations, my elevator speeches, exactly as I planned. I never did, not once. And the jokes I tried never worked. Now they won't laugh. Maybe they just didn't like me, right? I can accept that. Or maybe I just wasn't funny. So that's why I came up with this idea that I'm not funny and I don't write jokes into my public speaking. But I think you have to just chill and just be yourself, man. Be yourself. If you want to tell a joke, not for the audience, but for you. Make yourself laugh. If you make yourself laugh, you make someone laugh. I think our things that we think we want to make everyone laugh at the same time, right now, like we're comedians, round of applause, encore. No one cares about that. It's real comedy, real jokes. They're subtle. It's our thing to ourselves, right? As long as we make ourselves laugh. That's an important thing. I said that's the best. What's making you remember the other things we experience? That's not what people are saying, but it's evidence of humor. Indeed. And I love this. All lies through. All lies though. You are funny. You really are. You truly are. I guess you're funny is as you want to do. Well, you are an off the cuff, which is always best, right? Be that person, my friend. Yes, thank you, Yolanda. I'll pay you. I send a £10 note in the post later on, my friend. You're funny to me. That's all I care about, Yolanda. That's all funny to someone. I make Michael laugh sometimes. Rarely in public, though. Anyway, now, I'm sure you're getting the idea, my friends. Now, you can do an audiobook. I think, if you're not doing audiobooks, you're losing money, literally. You're losing money, leaving money on the table. Yolanda, sometimes, you crack me up every time, Yolanda, and I say, because we're writing Yolanda's book together, we do spend, we spend quite a few hours together already. So you have to spend time with someone to really get where they're coming from, right? Yeah, truly. And once you get them, and once you realize that they are hilarious. I mean, some people think strange thoughts. And maybe some people think that for some that's serious. So Michael told me earlier that he's an alien human, and that's funny. Because I just think that's one of the weirdest things. But the reason I think it's funny is not because Michael is an alien. It's because the second time I've heard it, and the other person who believes that they think they live in a different dimension. That's Halle. You get to meet her next Thursday. She truly thinks she lives in a different dimension. She always has done since she was a child, and she lives that way. You try and think what that means. And if that doesn't make you laugh, or at least smile right now, you must be made of stone, right? Truly. So Mary says, when we do laugh, why do we laugh when people slip and slide and then fall? It's something that we could do, that we have done, that's unexpected. It's look, so what? One person's joke is another one's. What? So if someone likes you, it's a joke. If someone doesn't like you, they might take offense. Is that a problem, Mary? But I said, well, we do find things funny. All you can do is just be yourself, my friend. Be yourself. Right? The technical side for audiobooks we can handle. So Cyrus, even if you do record your audiobook in a noisy, I don't want to say in the noisiest place. In a place that's not the quietest, Cyrus can fix that. Cyrus is a sound engineer amongst us. He's a real engineer. So I'm just trying to get your file to the standard that Audible wants. I'm trying to, but it has to be a decent file to start off with. And then also it has to be reasonably compliant in terms of noise in the background. But if there's really a sound problem, I will always go to Cyrus. I may bill you more based on what he charges me for the pleasure. But literally, there's nothing we can't fix. And even then, an Audible is so user friendly in telling you what's wrong with your file. You literally can just take your files, take Audible's feedback as you upload your audio files and say, right, and sound engineer, fix all these things, please, and they can do. Worst case, it might be you have to re-record something. That's not the end of the world, right? That's not the end of the world at all. But ultimately, we'll get your audiobook out. Again, part of my amazement is that my friend Laverne has sold so many copies. But I can hear you say, why is that so weird, Amy? Because she hasn't done any marketing for the audiobooks, really. So now audiobooks will market your audiobook for you. They send emails every day, like I said to you earlier. And they list audiobooks on there that you can get. See, there's an even more amazing sweetener with audiobook, which doesn't show up in your sales. Let me get this. Mary says, I have to filter my thoughts. Yes, Mary, we all have to, right? Some things that you want to say, you might not want to say. We have to find out sense and sensibilities based on the room we're in. Left to, I'd just be like this all day, every day, in every room, but I can't be like this. When we're talking mental health in Paulette's room, I have to slow down. I'm more often than not say nothing. I just literally mute myself and let her do her thing. I do what I do best, which is work on people in the room. In Christiana's room of a baby loss, again, I will leave the topic to her because it's very sensitive. And so of course, you have to slow down. But I guess we've got to try not to restrict ourselves too much. That we become disingenuous. We become performers rather than really saying what we really, rather than saying what I think about the topic, the message I'm trying to convey to our audience, what I think the audience needs to hear in terms of what's important, we try and filter ourselves so much that we sound plastic anyway. That's self-defeating, right? Safi, you found your way. Welcome, Safi. Speaking of feedback, consider joining the peer editors group to look over you now, or if you have a resume that needs editing. I think you mentioned a reading group as well the other day, didn't you, Safi? Please post any resources, anything, links that could be useful to us in the comments. I would really appreciate that, right? It's Anyway, look, again, even when it comes to books, there are reading clubs. There are people who will read your book before you go to publish, maybe even before you go to editor. So this is a link to the peer editors. So these are the ones that read your book, give you feedback that you can use to improve your book, and then when you're happy, you might send it to a professional editor. Because the book will be nearer to being what you want, right? I'm going to come to you next, Mr. Calm. Mary says, a pretty amazing picture, not having to market a lot, and Audible does it for you, right? Many more people have listened than physically read books, and I'm sure, except about comments on the video when they're supposed to work, right? Now, there is a sweetener on Audible, which I think is amazing. I don't know, it depends on you see that. I wonder how you see it, right? Let's see, when you publish your book on our Audible, they will give you 50 tokens, 50 tokens that you can give to people to go and read your book, your audio book, for free. 50. Why would they give you 50 tokens free for people to go and read your books for free? The answer, my friends, is because Audible knows what we all know. You need reviews. They want you to get 50 reviews, not 50. They want you to get 10, 15 reviews on your book. If you can get 10, 15 reviews on your book, and of course, if they're good reviews, then more people want to listen to your book. Well, you get 50 tokens to give out to people. Is it time limited? I'm not sure. I don't think it's time. Yeah, there's a date somewhere. But I don't think everyone's even using 50 tokens. I can see the dilemma. If I give away 50 tokens, that's 50 fewer readers I'm going to get. Don't think of it like that. Think of it more like, if I get 20, 30 reviews and they all say how great this book is, I'm going to get more readers. More, right? That's the way you got to think about it. Your book sales are not just for today. It is for the long term. And you see, I'm as guilty as everyone else. I'm quite happy to sell my books to those who know me, my friends, all right? I'm quite happy I'm happy for you to know about the book, go and buy the book. But my real book sales is not today. It's not from you necessarily. My real book sales is from people I have never met, people I don't know, randoms, as I call them, finding my book somewhere on Amazon and saying, yeah, I trust. The topic is exactly what I want. The title is what I think it should be. Description, this book's going to give me what I want, what I'm looking for, the information I'm seeking today. And then they buy the book. But first, they're going to look at the reviews and see what the reviews are saying. Think of what you do, my friend, when you buy stuff. You look at reviews first, right? We have this tendency as humans to avoid what we call buyer's regret, buyer's remorse. Same thing. We don't want to be. No, when something goes wrong, the first thing we say is, I should have known this. I couldn't trust them. And then you go and look at the reviews and you're like, damn, this person says exactly what happened. They say exactly what's happened to me, the problem that I've got with this brand, with this company, with this product, with this service. That's why everyone looks at reviews first. And then just to give ourselves reassurance, your book is the same. Unless you get reviews, your book is going nowhere too quick. A book with no reviews is not going to get a high rank on Amazon anyway. But a book with high reviews, especially reviews from verified purchases, verified buyers, that is going to get you far. Now, Safa explains the links that she shared is for now you weren't a creative, so that's a creative writing group in DC, but of course you can reach them from anywhere. Now there's this internet, so do check out those. This is that link that Safa shared. I don't want books coming to me, Safa, that are incomplete, unchecked, unproofed. I want books coming to me when they're good to go. So as I said to Michael earlier, I'm not going to read your book looking for mistakes. If I find mistakes, which I do in pretty much every book I've ever published, I've found there's mistakes. That's even after editing. It's sometimes it's not despite, but even after editing, there might be something that's not in the right place. That could be the editor. It could be that the person didn't apply what they told them to do. They didn't change that spelling, whereas they could have. They didn't. So when I find out, I'll change it. But most of the time, I just want to publish a book. I ain't got time for that. I want to do the layout quick, and then you go through the proofs. You get a chance to spot your mistakes several times. You get to spot your mistakes once it comes back from there. Once I look at it and say, right, here's what I think I have, you have to read the book and say, yeah, that's what this is, exactly what I think, what I want to publish. And then you get to read your book again once I've done the layout. Layout on my design software, I'll send you a proof. And then when you say, yeah, that's fine, in other words, this is your chances to spot the mistakes, right? Now, when I put the book onto Amazon, on KDP, I'll send you a proof again. And then, each time, again, all the things I've talked about today come into play. This is why I do what I do, the way I do, right? By you reading the book several times, you must know now that you can read your book because you know the book inside out. By you looking at your book several times, you can begin to get your head around, how would I narrate this book? Because you're reading it several times over, right? You begin to see, you get to picture in your head of how you tell the stories that you're telling verbally. Because like I always say, it's when you find your voice as an author that you really start making money. You're like talking about, when you can talk about your book and your messages, people want to listen to you more than read your book. And then they might go and buy your book and read your book afterwards, right? But it is your ability to and your joy to read your book that's going to determine your success. It's not what I do. So Mary says 7 visits to business on Google. So we know Google, right? So we look at that. Of course we do. So we look at different places. Now we look at different. What's online about this person, this service, this book, right? People they want reviews from everywhere. So that buyer's remorse is such a big thing. We'd rather not buy if we think we might regret it. We'd rather, me, for example, I'd rather pay more for a product with more reviews than pay less for a product that it looks similar, sounds similar, but it has fewer reviews. That's just how it is. Yolanda says, never mind proofreading, it's a must. I agree. Maybe, you have to drop the ego to be open to the people who are here to help you with your book. That includes the proofreaders, the editors, the cover designer. I see you talk about graphic design, Mary. I've watched a bit about publishing with graphics and how this can get flagged, even if I create it in Canva. Of course, they should. That should alter lines or something. Yeah, look, feedback is not a bad thing. So people who are here to help the editors, the book publishing trade. There's many people involved. Do learn to listen to them and do take the words. At least consider their advice. Decide which one you're going to take, which one you're going to leave behind, right? I think I'll publish a coloring book. Yes. Sounds good. I've never done one of those before, Mary. So, if you want to do that, I don't know, we should. Let's look at it. Let's let it work. We're tied together now anyway, Mary, so we'll get a chance to talk about these things in good time. Coloring book, what age, who for? Yeah, all that stuff. Mr. Calm, are you still there? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, he's not talking to me, so he's talking.
I'm talking to you. What's
So,
up? Yeah, I'm here. You got a
so
question for me?
are you at work now?
Yeah, positively.
Excellent. And has it started well?
Yeah, as far as I can tell.
The same mode, or you know, I'm jealous that
Same as yesterday.
I don't get to go out to go to work. So I wake up, do my tea, spend time with my pets, do some exercise, and then come and sit down and work. Well, now I'm standing up, so of course. Anyway, I guess on audiobooks, what
Everything you
are your
do, I do.
thoughts? No, okay. What do you have any big fears or big reservations about audiobooks that you might want to share with us? You don't have to. If you don't, then we can go. It's fine. Yeah, but do you have any big concerns that may hinder your wish to create an
Yeah,
audiobook?
you did mention some earlier, and what you mentioned earlier was about when you're unable to um, when you read a book, you try to get inside the mind of the author.
Hmm. No, no. Please
Okay.
keep the center stage. You fell off the stage. You're back though. That's
I always think that I always wonder whether the reader um, has really gotten into the mind of the author and is actually able to reflect what the author is actually trying to represent in the book. When I read a book, I've noticed that sometimes um, certain sentences that they reiterate, I get a different understanding, or a paragraph, I get a different understanding of what they actually end up portraying, or than what I actually listen to when I'm
Hmm.
reading versus what I'm listening to, and that's where our differences mismatch. So it's actually talking about authentically portraying what the author intended in your book. So the question is, am I right or are they right?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what I worry about.
Yeah, no, I can understand. It is. It's a dilemma, but I think, but this is where I think the footnotes in audiobooks come in handy. So Dan LaPena,
Footnotes in the audiobooks.
yes. This is to re-emphasize my point. Your audiobook is not a precise, exact replica of your book. It can be, but the smart authors know those moments of question, is what I call it, Michael, right? Those moments that may not be so clear, but when it's written in black and white, it's in black and white, it's fixed, you know? So whereas in audiobook, you can add this, you can say, essentially just say side note, or with a footnote, and then all the author's notes. That will do, and then break into your explanation what you really meant. It's easily done. So you have that facility with audiobooks that you don't have with books otherwise. Or even with AI reading your book, even someone reading your book, they can't add to it. You can if you read it yourself. You can explain things that you think are important. That's an important point. Mary says, I went to meet up with an editor who gives advice for free, tore into my work now, but I appreciated it. She thought my feelings were hurt, but I was like, no, that's your job, Mary. That's a mature attitude, and we all need to have that sort of attitude. It's not just editors. Choose your editor wisely, is what I say, right? A professional editor would do a professional job. I mean, if a friend would be nice to you, a friend would just be like, this sounds good. Family will be the same. They'll be like, nothing wrong with it. Go for it. An editor will give you suggestions on how you can improve the book for your readers. That's what they think. That's what we think about as editors, in Global Media anyway. And the editors I work with, they just want to tell you what they think could improve your book for the readers. Whether you take it or not, it's up to you. You do you, right? But I always say that be like Mary, have some grace and be humble. Realize that you don't know everything, and how, as Michael just said, how your content comes across matters. You may think you're being clear, but if someone else thinks you're not being clear, you may want to look at that part again and think, how can I explain it better to really convey what I want to say? What I want the readers to get out of this. It's important. Mary says, go run. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mary. You're a superstar. And I said, I don't know how I've done 2 hours again. But I'm going, my friends. You've been amazing. You really have been. Everyone that's joined me, I appreciate you. My American friends, Yolanda, I'll message you later on. Let's put our next date in. Could be Monday, could be Wednesday. But I'll check the dates that we have, and let's go from there. Safi, thank you so much. Lisa, the superstar. Jay, so my Nigerian brothers who joined us as well. Thank you so much, all of you. Somebody give Mr. Gideon, of course. And you, Michael, Linda, saying Luz, Dr. Yvonne, Daniel, Dr. Roxana. Thank you so much, all of you. I couldn't do this room without you, Mr. Babe as well. Thank you so much, all of you. Thank you. Michael, you're a star. You're my favorite person, Michael. You know that, don't you? Michael? Nah, okay, it's fine.
Yes,
You haven't got to respond to it. Hey?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll take it. Look, enjoy your day. We'll talk later, I'm sure. You take care. Keep enjoying, Jay. Keep enjoying your show. Keep enjoying your woodlands and your.
I suppose I have to start calling Phenomenal quiet.
You're gonna start calling who Phenomenal? You?
No, Cyrus. The Cyrus.
Cyrus. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Now this topic was for him, to be fair, because he's the guy that does the podcast. He's the guy that does the audiobook editing. Now Tracy Chow, she also does audiobooks. So there's not a shortage of people. Of course, I want to publish your audiobook, but if you don't want me to do it, get someone else to do it for you. So the fact that you can make money without doing too much marketing yourself, it's remarkable. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. My friends, enjoy your day. I will be in touch later. Joni, of course, I can't forget you, Joni. Thank you so much, Joni. You're a star, and I do truly adore Joni as well, because she always knows, she's like you, Michael. She shows up just to be helpful to us. I love that. So look, enjoy. I'm off.
But I like Cyrus even more. He shows up.
we all love Cyrus because he's Cyrus, right? Yeah.
It's probably the AI that he sent.
I can well believe he literally turned the device on, put himself on stage, and then he's probably gone to work, or maybe he's gone back to sleep. It's evening here though, so maybe not sleep.
Over there. Well, I hope he's okay.
Yeah, I'll find that. I'll find out on WhatsApp in a few minutes.
I missed him. All right, later.
Bye, everyone. She's success with global.me.